let's get into the Christmas Day game. And we have the Saints hosting the Minnesota Vikings. The spread is 7. The total's 50.5. Drew Brees did not look quite healthy last week. One of his worst completion percentage games that I can remember in recent memory. Stuck, what are your initial thoughts on the Vikes at the Saints?
Yeah, revenge game for the Saints. If you recall, the Vikings won in the playoffs there down in New Orleans last year.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, what? Revenge really from, what was it, two of the last 3 postseasons, I think, the Vikings eliminated the Saints?
I mean, so I think that the Saints will be fired up for this one. The problem is there's a lot of injuries that the Saints you have to worry about on the offensive line, a wide receiver, someone the defensive side of the ball. Breeze, he started to look a little better towards the end of that game at least, but it might take him some time to kind of shake some of the rust off. I think that the Saints are a good teaser piece, a good money line parlay piece. The Vikings are kind of in free fall mode here, and their season's pretty much over now. Cam Dantzler, their corner. Cam Dantzler, their rookie corner, is playing really well of late. It's worth mentioning. But the Vikings just haven't been good. I mean, ever since that loss to Dallas. So the number, I make it around 7, but have to adjust based on the final injury reports. I do think the Saints find a way to win here. They're not dead for a 1 seed if you're a Saints fan. The Saints are 1 back of the Packers, but the Packers did beat the Saints, so the Saints have to pass them in the standings. Packers could lose to the Titans. We'll talk about that game. And then they go to the Bears. So the Saints still have something to play for. And you obviously want the highest seed you can get. So a lot of it's going to depend on injuries. I do think the Saints find a way. I think it's a good money line piece, a good tease piece if you want something to start off your weekend with.
Do you think the Vikings they're not technically eliminated, correct? Like they have an outside shot.
Yeah, I mean, the Vikings playoff, in order for the Vikings to get to the playoffs, the Vikings are 6-8. They still have a chance, but I mean, it's very, 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 very small chance. They're 6-8 on the year, just a huge loss to the Bears last week. And by the way, if the Bears win, beat the Jags, and the Cardinals lose to the 49ers, the Bears would actually jump the Cardinals into that final spot. But the Vikings basically need to get to 8-8 and hope that everyone else with 8 wins gets to 8-8 and they have to win the tiebreaker. It's not going to happen. But they're not completely eliminated. They also have some injuries too. So a lot of injuries to keep track of on this game. But I think the Saints pull it out.
Yeah, so I'll just give some of the injuries as we record this Wednesday. Guys with 2 straight DNPs. Remember, they practiced on Tuesday, practiced again Wednesday because the game is on Friday. Linebacker Todd Davis, fullback CJ Ham with a quad, which could be big. He's an underrated part of that offense because you're also probably going to miss Kyle Rudolph, still out with that foot injury, didn't practice as we record this Wednesday. Alexander Madison, the backup running back in the concussion protocol. Linebacker Eric Kendricks with a calf, didn't practice the first 2 days. So some key injuries for the Vikes. And then the Saints, as you mentioned, Stuck, it's the receiving core that could be a little thin. Remember, no Michael Thomas on IR, Deontay Harris also on IR. So Emmanuel Sanders, really the only healthy receiver. Traquan Smith picked up an ankle injury. He's been playing almost every snap. He started the week with 2 straight DNPs, and they did activate Marquez Callaway, but unclear if he is going to return this week. So, I mean, you could be looking at Juwan Johnson and Tommy Lee Lewis, playing significant snaps at the wide receiver position for New Orleans. So depending on that final injury report, I think this could be a sneaky under game, especially with, CJ Ham and some of those guys out for potentially out for Minnesota. Remember, New Orleans does still have a top 5 defense in terms of DVOA. So that's probably where I'm looking the most. I have it at 7 as well as far as the spread. So I don't think there will be any value either way, even if it moves a half point over under that the current number.